Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon.
But you have to realize that, yes, the involvement of violence in black folks comes from that long history that the president was talking about, that we have to remember that we learned from some of the best. They had some white boys came over here that did the first beheadings in Point Coupee, Louisiana, where I'm from. Slave insurrection, that was the way you dealt with it. Tuskegee syphilis incident. We're going to see how black men die if they have syphilis, but we pretend we treat them with penicillin, and we're just going to watch the pathology of how they die. Now, that wasn't back 200 years ago. That was 1930 to 1974. We're talking about giving these wonderful blankets to the Native Americans infected with smallpox as they walked on that trail of tears just to see how they die and to eliminate their population so we can take all of that land. So the violence that is in America has come from a very learned position that was brought here by some Caucasian folks. All right?
Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash, Kol Thapa Arath, Hawad Wahaloyim La, Allah Yanawa, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. And what I just said in the Lashon Kodash being the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, or in other words, the true biblical Hebrew for holy tongue or language. And what I just said is, all glory, honor, and praises abundantly and continuously to our power, Yahweh, the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God, in the name of his only begotten Son, our Savior, our Messiah, our Deliverer, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth, to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, as well as the rest of the elect scattered abroad amongst the heathen nations to the four corners of the earth, east, north, south, and west. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Ra'aib Tazadakwa coming back at you again, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, with another lesson. Yahweh Razah is going to be edifying and encouraging for you Akim and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. Now, first thing I'm going to say right off the bat is that this isn't in transit, so Baba Kushah, bear with me. If there's any pauses, hesitations, or delays, you know why. I am on the road, and I do need to keep my eyes on the traffic and on the road. So if there's any pauses, hesitations, or delays, bear with me. Baba Kushah, which is the ancient Paleo-Hebrew for please, and I do appreciate that. Now, the second thing I'm going to say is I'm going to give this copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer, fair use is allowed for criticism, commentary, and educational purposes. Fair use is allowed. I'm not profiting from this at all. All right, so fair use is allowed. The fair use notice is given. And you see this is on the page, Too Hot for You. And the title is Wendell Pierce, Violence in America, previously recorded on the Bill Maher Show. All right. And so this is a continuation. And bear with me, like I said, I'm going around a curve right here. So bear with me a brief second. But this is a continuation. I don't even remember because I took a break from this lesson series to get into some other things as the Spirit prompted me to. But if you want to get the whole lesson, then you'll want to start at part 1. And I do encourage you to do that because we are building and there's a lot of edification, precepts, etc. that's been brought out. So we're on part 7. So this is part 8. And you see it's been almost a week since I did the last one. It probably was a week because I usually upload them the next day. And so part 1 is all the way down here. No, that's part 4. You see, I've gotten into some other things, including not in transits, live altar teachings. Here's part 1 right there. Why racism in America can never be solved. And the answer to that, if you want to get the full answer, which I encourage you to do, go check out part 1 and just work your way through, right? Because there's a lot of edification that's come out, right? But the answer to why racism in America can never be solved, why it has never been solved, and why it can never be solved is because it's biblical. And it is set up this way by the Most High, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God. Okay, his true name is Yahweh. It is set up this way. It is biblical. It is spiritual, right? You have 18 nations on the face of the earth, okay? And 2 of those nations are special. That's what the Apostle Paul is talking about in the book of Romans when he says, from one lump, two vessels, one vessel unto honor and one vessel unto dishonor. 2 vessels from one lump. That one lump is Isaac. The 2 vessels are Jacob and Esau. The one unto honor is Jacob, name later changed to Israel. The one unto dishonor, the vessels of wrath, fitted to or for destruction, fitted being a synonym for created. So you can say created to or created for destruction. That would be Esau. Okay, the biblical Edomites. Okay, who is Jacob today? Jacob today would be the so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. We are the true Israelites. Southern Kingdom being the so-called blacks, the Northern Kingdom being the so-called Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. Okay, as well as any and all whose lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're Israelites as well, even if they look nothing like so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, because it's about the bloodlines, not about genetics. Genetics impact what you look like, but bloodlines impact who you are. And bloodlines, and who you are, what race, family, and nation you are of, is 100% based on the bloodline, which is passed down through the father. The mother has nothing to do with that. She impacts genetics and genetics only. Okay? And it is a physiological fact that when the baby is in the womb of the mother, the placenta keeps the bloodline of I'm going to just say the blood of the mother completely and totally separate from the blood of the baby at all times. Right? The blood that is in that baby's womb, the blood that is in that baby's veins is 100% from the father. Okay? You are who your father is. Now, that's who the Israelites are, and a lot of Israelites don't look like Israelites. They look like the nations that were scattered amongst to the 4 corners of the earth. And then the Edomites today, well, that would be generally speaking, again, it's about bloodline. There is some genetic mixing amongst that nation as well, so not all of them look like this, but generally speaking, are in accordance with Genesis, the 4th chapter, and Genesis 25 and 25. All right, the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. In accordance with those scriptures, right, the biblical Edomites would be the so-called white man, generally speaking. That's what they look like generally, usually, but not in all cases. And not every so-called white man is an Edomite, because you do have some, it's possible for some, there ain't no possibility about it. You do have some Edomites, you do have, and like I said, this isn't in transit. Not as sharp on my transits as I used to be, because I don't do them as often. But you do have some so-called white people that are not Edomites. You even have some so-called white people that are actually Israelites. Their lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're Israelites. See? Okay, it's about the bloodlines. But having said that, there are generalities. Generally speaking, so-called white people are Edomites. All right. And generally speaking, so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians are Israelites. But you do have a lot of Israelites that don't look anything like that. All right. And of course, as is always the case, when I get on the road, start doing it in the transit, people want to get behind me and match my speed and my flank. And like they make it their life's goal to be in my blind spot. You know, these heathen are a bunch of drones. And that's good, because when we get in the kingdom, then they should be able to follow orders. All right, because that's what, hey, for all of y'all that didn't know, the heathen are going to be serving the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven for all eternity. All right, the second Psalm in the 8th verse, read the whole Psalm, Revelation 2:26 and 27, Revelation 13:9 and 10, Isaiah the 60th chapter, Isaiah the 61st chapter. Both of those chapters go in heavy on it. Jeremiah, is it the 30th chapter or the 16th chapter? Just read them both. 2nd Ezra 6, 54 on down. How many more are the precepts you want? The 149th Psalm. It's one of the narratives of the book referring to the Bible, the scriptures, starting at Genesis 1:1 and the beginning of Revelation 22:21 Aman, with the Apocrypha included. All right, so now I'm moving back on. Now, that's the reason why racism in America can never be solved. The Edomites are over the Israelites, right? And the Edomites and the Israelites are arch enemies, okay? That's the reason why, right? Going back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and the punishment that was given to the serpent being a flesh and blood man, not a literal snake, okay? In the same fashion that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach spoke to the wicked scribes and Pharisees and called them a brood of vipers, and everybody understands that he didn't mean that literally. All right, the events of the fall are presented in metaphoric, allegorical fashion. It really took place. It really literally happened, but it's not presented in a literal manner. It's presented in an allegorical manner. That serpent was a flesh and blood man being referred to metaphorically as a serpent. And I'm not going to get into it too deep because I've already touched on this in some of the other previous parts. I think 2 of the previous parts already touched on this, but man was created in abundance on the 5th day, right? So go check out parts, like I think maybe parts 5 and 6, or it might be 4 and 5. I forget which because it's been a little while, right? But I went into it a little bit and I'm going to touch on it again now. Man was created in abundance on the 5th day, right? And it says, I'll show you real quick. And this is the reason why I haven't made more progress, is because I get into other things as the Spirit leads. But as it is written, quench not the Spirit, right? So, and yeah. So here you go. That was the end of the 4th day on the 19th verse, right? So 20th verse. And the Most High said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures. People don't understand what the waters are. There's multiple things that can be referred to as waters, right? Here, the waters it isn't referring to H2O, all right? And for whatever reason, people, you can see here, it's almost midnight. And it's like people just want to just be around me, man. It's like, can I get a stretch of, thank you. All right. The waters here is referring to, is referring to kind of like a nebulous or all the different atoms mixed up in the center of the earth. That's what the waters is referring to. That's what the waters is referring to here. Obviously, H2O can be referred to as waters, right? Clearly, right? But also the atmosphere is referred to as waters, and so is outer space. See, there's multiple things that can be referred to as waters. You see the word waters in the English, and you think you know what it's talking about, but you don't. It's talking about all the atoms mixed together in the center of the earth. Okay? This is the creation account, man. Okay? All right? So, that's what it means. It says, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. And yes, they pass through the H2O waters, right? But it isn't talking about those waters when it says, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. Now, it says, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. Mankind has life, don't they? And fowl, birds, that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven, right? Now, so that tells you right there, in case you thought this was just talking about fish, that tells you that out of these waters came forth not only fish. And it doesn't state everything else explicitly, but it already told you. Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life. That's all moving creatures that have life, right? And it tells you here, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven, which fowl, birds, are a completely and totally different type of flesh altogether than fish. For anybody that might try to say that birds evolved from fish or something like that. Okay, you can get that in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. It tells you got completely and totally different types of flesh of birds, fish, and beasts, and man. All 4 different types of flesh. Okay, completely and totally different types of flesh, right? But that's telling you right there, this is not just talking about fish. It's actually talking about what it says. The moving creature that hath life. Point blank, period. Next verse. And the Most High created great whales and every living creature that moveth. Is not mankind, are not men and women living creatures that move? Right? See, which the waters, all the atoms mixed up in the center of the earth, brought forth abundantly after their kind, right? And every winged fowl after his kind. So all the fish, the birds, the beasts, and man in abundance on the 5th day. And the Most High saw that it was good, because mankind is a living creature that moveth. And the Most High blessed him. So let's get on down here. And let's see, on the 6th day, because this is what people say, well, wait a minute, what do you mean it's created on the 5th day, right? Because it says here on the 6th day, and the Most High said, it's like I've been saying Most High, like I said, I am distracted. It is actually not the Most High. It's actually the Hebrew word Elohim. Like I said, this isn't in transit, right? This is actually the Hebrew word Elohim, and it's actually talking about the angels. The divine ones, the judges, the rulers, the gods, the angels, starting with the top angel, the angel of the Lord, the angel of Yahweh, which is Yahweh Shai, the only begotten Son, and then his brethren, the 144,000, the Elohim, the powers, the rulers, the judges, the divine ones. Okay, the Most High is not doing this himself directly. The Most High created Yahweh Shai, the only begotten Son, directly himself. He proceeded forth out of the mouth of the Most High. Then he gave Yahweh Shai, the only begotten Son, the command and the instructions on how to fulfill the command to create everything. First thing Yahweh Shai did is he made his brethren. This is what it's talking about in John 1:1. He made his brethren, the 144,000, the Elohim, and then they helped Yahweh Shai make everything else. That's why it says in verse 26, we're going to get to it, let us, right? And when he said, for they have been with me from the beginning, right, in John the 17th chapter, right, he wasn't talking about the beginning of his earthly ministry there. He was talking about this beginning we're reading about here. This is the beginning. Now, they were with him from the beginning of that as well, because he called them, right? But this is the beginning he's talking about. Genesis 1:1 in the beginning. That's the beginning he's talking about. Okay? Let's go on a little bit more. And the Most High said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind. Right. This is the different subspecies. Okay? Because it already told you up here that every living creature that moveth. And it told you that it was talking about the bird, so you know that this is not just talking about fish. Okay? Down here in the 6th day, this is a different subspecies. And the Most High said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after its kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And so then we get down here and you say, well, I'm still struggling with this because it says here, and I'm just touching on it, right? Because I'm going down the road and this is actually not the direct focus of the lesson. But it's important to understand that serpent in the garden was a flesh and blood man. And you're not going to understand that unless you can also receive that man was created in abundance on the fifth day. Because if you're thinking that Adam and Eve was the only two people on the earth, then you're not going to receive that serpent was a flesh and blood man. And if you don't receive that serpent was a flesh and blood man, then you can't receive that serpent is actually in control of the earth today. See, that's why it's important to understand this. And the Most High said, let us make man, I keep saying Most High, and the Elohim, because that's the Hebrew word. It is the Hebrew word Elohim. The Most High is not mentioned until you get over into the next chapter and the 4th verse. That's the first place where he's mentioned. And that's the reason why it says, and the powers, the angels, the rulers, the gods, the divine ones said, let us. The Most High is not schizophrenic. This is talking about the angels, the gods, the divine ones, the rulers, the judges. That's what the word means. You look it up in the blue letter. That's what it says. I've done that many times. That's why I can just tell you what it means, because I've done it many, many times. You can look it up. I'm going down the road. And the power say, let us, because it was 144,001. The one being Yahushua, right? And the 144,000, his brethren. All right. And bear with me a brief second. Somebody again wants to match my speed. I don't know what's wrong with this person here. It's like one of the most annoying things, man. People gain. And then when they get behind you, they slow down and match your speed for some reason. All right. But yeah, it says, let us make man in our image. No, Ra'ib, how you going to tell me that man was made in abundance on the 5th day? I see your point, though, but how do you get around that? How do you get around that? I see what you're saying up there in those preceding verses on the 5th day. It makes some sense. But how do you get around this? Let us make man in our image. That seems to be point blank. You got to go to the Hebrew. All right, so when you go to the Hebrew and you get the word, and you get the word for make. There it is, H6213. I'm going to show you one of the things that it means, right? So then you put this with what we already brought out in the preceding verses on the 5th day, and this should, give you what you need, right? When you look this word up, it has a lot of different meanings it can go into, right? And there's one, and I'm trying to find it while I'm going down the road, so bear with me. There it is. Definition 2, it says what? You see there, it says definition 1, to do, work, make, produce. It's kind of like a bunch of things, right? But then you get down here to definition 2, to make. Okay, what does it mean to make? To make, obviously, that's Esau. He likes to do that. He likes to define a word by itself. Okay, what does it mean to produce something? Well, to produce it. All right, to make, to produce, to prepare, to make an offering. Uh-oh. Now we're cooking with Crisco. To attend to put in order. Ding, 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 ding. That's it. That's what's being done to man on the 6th day. To observe, celebrate, to acquire, to appoint, ordain, institute. See? To bring about, to use, to spend, to pass. But that one right there, that E, to attend to, put in order. That's exactly it. That's hitting the nail on the head. On the 6th day, man was given order. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, meaning let's give man order. We have order. Let's give man order. After our likeness. Yeah, because we're in order. We're in order. We're going to give man order. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. And here's the order. And over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon earth. See? And also order amongst men, right? As well, starting with Adam. He's the top, right? So the Most High created man in his own image, right? In the image of the Most High, I keep saying Most High. This is the Elohim again. Again, like I said, I'm rusty on my transits, right? So the Elohim created man in his own image, in the image of the Most High. The Elohim created him, male and female created them, and the Most High himself is not mentioned until you get over here in the 4th verse. These are the generations. It says generations, but it means the record or the account
of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahweh, our power, Yahweh the Most High, made the earth and the heavens. Because even though he didn't create it personally, he gets the credit because he made the one that did create it. And he gave him the instructions on how to do it. And he made his brethren, the Elohim, the powers, and they helped him carry out that task. That's why, again, it says over there, let us make man in our image, right? And then you get over here, this is the first time where the Most High is mentioned. And that's all important to understand, that when you get over here to the 3rd verse, and it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. That when it says a serpent here, and you get the words, and it tells you when you get the root word that it's one that practices divination, fortune telling, witchcraft. This was not a literal snake coiled up in front of a cauldron with a pointy wizard hat on, dropping in chicken bones and hair. No, this was a flesh and blood man who operated in, delved in, practiced left hand side occultic activity. All right. Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. The beast is a metaphor for for all the nations. Even the Israelites are likened unto sheep, and in certain contexts, lions. Okay? Of the field. The field is a metaphor for the earth, which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So, it's important to understand that this was a flesh and blood man, right? So now, let's go back over here to Salakia, the Jeremiah, the opening passage, right? And the main reason we came here, I started at the 31. I always like to get a little line upon line. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud. Who is most proud? Who is most proud? Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. 4th verse. Behold, his soul which is lifted up. Whose soul? Which is lifted up. Lifted up of what? Is not upright in him. But the just shall live by his faith. You see a juxtaposition here. You see somebody who's lifted up and he's not upright. He's crooked. He's made crooked. Who can make straight what the Most High has made crooked? Who? No one. And then you see that contrasted with someone else who is just living by faith. Who could these two, who could be referred, who could be the two that are being referred to here? Well, you already know, Jacob and Esau. The biblical Edomites, the ones whose soul is lifted up, is not upright in him, and the Israelites, those that are just and live by faith, or at least we're supposed to. Okay, but in this time, a lot of us are not, only the elect is. Okay, but in the kingdom of heaven, we all will be once again. But that's who it's talking about. The two vessels, one unto honor, one unto dishonor. Then you got the rest of the heathen nations, okay, which are all kind of lumped in together. And bear with me again, somebody's doing the same thing. Let me just lose them real quick. Just taking off speed so they can go on by, but they act like they don't want to. All right. These people are drones, man. They got no brains for themselves. I want to follow you. It's just me and them on the road. I want to follow you. Me and them on the road. Whatever speed you go, I'll go. All right, man. Go on down the road, man. Anyway. Let's go to the next verse. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine his philosophies, his doctrines, and his ideals. He is a proud man. And it tells us in the book of Daniel that there are certain Edomites that are more proud than their fellows. Their look is more stout than their fellows. Yeah, the Edomites over here in America, Babylon the Great, are the most proud of the most proud. You got the most proud, which is the nation of Esau, Edom as a whole. But then within the most proud, that nation, you got the most proud of the most proud, which are the American Edomites. Okay, and that's all I want to get there. So let's go back, right? That's who's the most proud. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Ha'adawan, Yahweh of hosts.
For thy day is come. It is come. It's here. The time that I will visit thee. That visitation's already begun. And the most proud, the Edomites, all of them, especially the American Edomites, okay, shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise them up. Right. And I will kindle a fire in his cities. Right? Well, you got a metaphoric fire, meaning the plagues. Salakia, drop the phone. Meaning the plagues and the judgments that the Heavenly Father is pouring out upon them. That's a metaphoric fire, right? But then there's going to be a literal fire, right? Which is a thermonuclear destruction of the Third World War, right? The third woe, pursuant to Revelation 9 and 12 and Revelation 11 and 14, right? Revelation the 9th chapter, Revelation the 18th chapter, right? Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, which we're in, and Jeremiah 51 as well. See? So you got a metaphoric and a literal fire, thermonuclear literal fire to be exact, right? And it shall devour all round about him, all. But this is actually what we came for, but we just got that, right? And we'll touch on that 34 as well. And yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can pick up the pace and get this done tonight, because I've been stuck in the same place for about 5 lessons. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the sons, that is the Hebrew word banyam, all right? And it is indeed gender specific when you look it up. Son, grandson, male, child, right? Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the women and children are included by extension. The sons of Israel, all right, the northern kingdom, and the sons of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. Where? When were the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom oppressed together? Well, ever since there was a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, they've never been oppressed together. Okay? The only time the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom was oppressed together is before there ever was a northern and a southern kingdom, because the split had not yet occurred. So the only time the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom was oppressed together is before the split occurred. All right, that's it. But since there's been a split, which in a certain sense started the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, they've never been oppressed together. Ever. Never. So when is this talking about? Okay, the sons of Israel, northern kingdom, and the sons of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. So what is it talking about? Now. Right now. That's been fulfilled in this time. Okay? Here in America, Babylon the Great. This is where the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are oppressed together. All right? Here you have all 12 tribes here in America, Babylon the Great, being oppressed and afflicted and robbed and spoiled forevermore. Okay? And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Okay? The Holy One of Israel. He shall thoroughly plead their cause. Yeah, execute judgment for us. Tying directly into Micah 7 and 9. Okay? That he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. That's America, Babylon the Great. The inhabitants, well, it would be the biblical Edomites. They're the ones running the show, calling the shots here, right? As well as all that are joined unto them, right? So when we go to John 8 and 44, which is where we've been stuck now for a while. We actually got out of it, but we was getting precepts. No, we didn't get out of it. We were getting precepts to show who Yahushua is talking about. Who is Yahushua talking about? In John 8 and 44, if it'll come up for me. There it is. Let's get down here. Who is he talking about? In the 44th verse. Yahushua is talking to wicked scribes and Pharisees, and he tells them that ye are of your father, the devil. We've already been all through all this. I'm going to make it quick. Check out the other parts, okay? The devil being referred to here, we want to know who this is, okay? He's saying that spiritually speaking, these Israelites, all right, these leaders of the nation of Israel, spiritually speaking, have a father, spiritual father, and it's the devil. Is he talking about the spiritual demon Satan? Well, we've already covered all this. No, and we've already proved it, right? Every time you see devil, it's not always talking about a spiritual demon, a spiritual being. It can be referring to flesh and blood men, and that's the case here. Same thing with the word Satan, the name Satan. When you see Satan, it's not always talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It tells you that when you look it up. Sometimes it can be referring to a Satan-like man. We've already established these things, so go check out the previous parts. Ye are of your father, the devil. So who is this talking about? Is this talking about a spiritual demon or a spiritual being? Or is this talking about a flesh and blood man or a race of men or a group of men or a nation of men? Which one is it? Well, the answer lies in the rest of what Yahushua says. Okay, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. Okay, who's the he? The devil. He, the devil, was a murderer from the beginning. So, hey, that's one of the descriptions of who the devil is. So, he was a murderer from the beginning of what? Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. That beginning. Okay, so all we got to do is go back and look for a murderer. The first one, then that's looking like that's the devil. That's incriminating evidence right there. But, we're going to need a little bit more than that. Right? He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. So whoever this devil is, he had to be in the truth, and then he left the truth. Okay? He couldn't be in the truth. He couldn't lead the truth without being in the truth. So he had to be in the truth and then lead the truth. Right? So whoever fits that, now we got two things. He was a murderer from the beginning, and he was in the truth at first, but then he left the truth. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. Okay, so, lies is his thing. Okay, for he is a liar. Right, that's his thing. And the father of it. What does it mean to be the father of something? Well, that means you kick it off, doesn't it? Yeah, you kick it off, right? And if you kick something off, then you're like the father of it. Yeah, that's what it means. So so these are all things or descriptors or characteristics, whatever you want to call it, of the devil. So all we got to do is go look and see who fits this description. And whoever fits this description, that is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. So let's go look and see. Let me see. I'm really out of time. Let me see if I'm going to try to get through this real quick. Let me pull up in this spot real quick, and let me see if I'm gonna try to run through this real quick. Bear with me. Yes, I'm gonna try to get through it real quick. All right, and still do it justice, and we'll see if I'm able to do that. So we come over to Genesis, the first chapter, and we see in the beginning. This is the beginning Yahushua was referring to when he said he was a murderer from the beginning. Who's the first murderer? Do we see any murders in the first chapter? No. See any murders in the second chapter? No. See any murders in the third chapter? No. Yeah, there's a spiritual murder, but how does it say in the Apocrypha? Through envy of the devil came death into the world, and all that do take hold of him or follow his ways do find it, right? But no literal murder, right? So let's go to Genesis, the fourth chapter. It's got to be a murder here somewhere, or else something's got to give, right? Well, we got a murder here in Genesis, the fourth chapter. See, you got Adam, Noah and Eve, and she bears Abel, and Cain, and then Abel. Cain, then Abel, right? And we see that they were told to bring a sacrifice, an offering rather. Yeah, sacrifice, offering. And Cain didn't do it in accordance with the instructions. Why not? Because he was faithless. He had no faith. Okay? Faith leads you to obey. Faith leads you to obedience. If you got faith, you're gonna obey. Righteous works, right? Faith without works is dead. So if you got true faith, it's always going to lead to righteous works, which is obedience, right? But if you don't have faith, then you're not going to have any righteous works, which means you're not going to obey. So Cain was faithless. He didn't obey, right? But look, check this out. There's a conversation between Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, and Cain, most likely through a prophet, right? Most High likely isn't speaking to Cain directly, but he's speaking with him through a prophet. What's that telling you? That's telling you that Cain is what? In the truth. Okay? And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? What's the matter with you, Cain? Why are you so upset? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, because Cain was told what to do. Why was he told what to do? Because he's in the truth. He was born to Adam. He was given instructions, right? By Adam. And he was told what to do and what not to do, and he disobeyed. Now he's getting an opportunity to repent and correct that. What is that telling you? Cain is in the truth. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? Just do what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to be pleased with you, Cain. And if thou doest not well, but if you don't listen, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be its desire, right? Yes, sin is looking to dominate you, and thou shalt rule over him, right? And so what did Cain do? Did he take that correction? Did he take that admonition to just get it together and do what was right? Okay, look, Cain, you can just follow the example of your brother. What did he do? Well, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother. We all know. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. He killed his brother. Reason? Well, his brother was doing right and he was doing wrong. He didn't like the way that made him feel, so he killed his brother. Right? So here we have the first murder. What did Yahweh say? He was a murderer from the beginning. Well, that makes it really look like Cain, right? But what about this? I see how you're saying he's in the truth, but what about that part? Well, let's get this lie first. For he is a liar, and when he speaks a lie, he speaks his own, for he's a liar, and he's a father of it. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. I don't know. A big old lie, man. But see, here's the interesting thing. This is not the first lie. The first lie is actually a chapter over, right? The first lie is here, where the serpent is deceiving Eve, and he tells Eve that what the Most High said is flat out wrong. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. And then he said that, he called the Most High a liar, because the Most High had said, yeah, you're going to die. And he just flat out said, you're not going to die, which means he's calling the Most High a liar. And he is actually the one lying, right? And you say, well, all right, well, now I'm confused because I see over there that Cain is the first murderer. He's a murderer from the beginning. And I see how Cain is in the truth. Well, yeah, you see that. Let me show you how he abode not in the truth. Let's drop down to like the 15th or 16th verse. And Yahweh, this is after Cain was begging because he was like, my punishment is more than I can bear. And Yahweh said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. Terrible vengeance upon anybody who puts their hands on Cain. The Most High is doing multiple things here. He's putting protection on the devil so that the devil doesn't get killed in the first part of the movie, right? Because if he gets killed in the first part of the movie, then how's he going to do his dirt? Right, he's got a role to play, and he can't get killed off in the first act, right? The beginning of the first act at that. So he's got to protect his devil so he can do what he created him to do. Proverbs 16:4. Behold, the Most High has made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil, right? For the evil day, for the day of evil. He made the devil to do dirt. So he can't let him get killed off, so he's protecting his devil. I want to say protecting his investment. Let's put it that way to make a little fun of it, right? But then he's also proven a point that no matter what you do for this devil, he's never going to do right, ever. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness, right? In the land of uprightness will he, not do justly, paraphrasing it, okay? He's never going to do right. No matter how much favor you show him, how many more chances you give him, nothing. No matter nothing, he's never going to do right. And the Heavenly Father is making this point. And he continues to make this point as you go through the scriptures. He's making this point even to this day. That no matter what you do for this devil, he will never, ever, ever, ever do right. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain. That is the mark of leprosy. He's a clean leper. He made him look like what you would call a so-called white man, right? Lest any find in him should kill him. Here's the point. And Cain went out from the presence of Yahweh. Where was he? in the presence of Yahweh. What's another way of saying that? He was in the truth. He was given the correct instructions. He was raised up as a son of Adam, right? Oldest son, firstborn son of Adam. He was told what to do. He disobeyed, given an opportunity. He didn't listen. He got punished for it. And then he cried about it. He wanted protection. He got the protection. And what did he do? He bounced. He left. So Cain, NOT, slide over. So Cain left Yahweh's presence. He abode not in the truth. And you're like, well, wow, Rob, wow, I really see that. I see how he abode not in the truth. I see how he was a murderer from the beginning, but he didn't tell, he's not really the father of lies. The serpent's the father of lies. So, I mean, you got 2 out of 3, but it ain't all 3 of them. So now, I mean, you can't really put it on him then. Well, the serpent in the garden, I already told you, was a flesh and blood man, and he's actually the same man as Cain. Reincarnation is biblical. Let him who has ears hear, if you can receive it. Okay. That same spirit that was in that man in the garden. Okay. The same spirit that was in that man in the garden is the same spirit that was in Cain. It's the same man. Okay. Being born in new flesh as a son of Adam. That's letting favor be shown to the wicked. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let him be born as a son of Adam, because that's what the Heavenly Father is doing. So when he gave Cain this protection, this was not the beginning of him showing favor to him. No, he had already started it back by letting him be born as a son of Adam, because it's the same man being born again in new flesh. Reincarnation is biblical. Let him who has ears hear. And if you're struggling with that, go read Matthew the 11th chapter, verses 13, 14, and 15. And Yahushua told the disciples point blank period, in accordance with the prophecy, Malachi the 4th chapter in the 5th verse, that John the Baptist equals Elijah, the prophet, prophesied to come. Okay, John the Baptist was Elijah the prophet coming back in the reincarnation, and you got many, many other precepts that show that reincarnation is biblical. So listen, even though Cain is telling the second lie, it's actually his second lie. He actually told his first lie in the preceding chapter, Genesis, the 3rd chapter. See, so he is the father of lies. Okay, he told his first lie as the serpent in the garden, flesh and blood man. And then he told his second lie here, and he slew his brother. He's the first murderer, and he abode not in the truth. He left the presence of Yahweh and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. See, so Cain fits the bill of Genesis 8, John, the 8th chapter and the 44th verse. He fits the bill to a T. Meaning, when we go back over to John 8 and 44, if he fits it, if the glove fits, you can't acquit. Okay? Meaning that Cain is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. But Cain later was born again in the reincarnation as Esau. The serpent in the garden, Cain and Esau, all the same man, just different flesh. Okay, it's the same man, same spirit. And so when he says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do, he was a murderer from the beginning, Cain, and abode not in the truth, Cain, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. The serpent in the garden. We don't know his name. He's serpent, right? But that's also Cain. Same spirit. Different flesh, same spirit though, meaning it's the same man. So that's also Cain. We don't have his name when he was the serpent in the garden. So we'll call him by his name that we know, Cain. And Cain came back in the reincarnation as Esau. He is the goddamn devil. And what is Esau? Esau is a race, a nation of people, a family of people, all whose lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to Esau. They are devils, a nation, a race, a family of devils. And that's what Yahushua is talking about, right? And we just looked at the evidence, man. He gave you the evidence to look at. Murderer from the beginning, abode not in the truth, father of lies. See? And who fits it? Cain, the serpent, Esau. Okay? And Esau is a nation. Okay? And that's the nation that's in control today. That's the nation that has their boots on our necks non-stop continuously. And that's the reason why we're getting robbed, afflicted, and oppressed and spoiled forevermore here in America, Babylon the Great. That's the reason why we're to this day getting slain in the streets, getting slain in our homes. We're getting slain spiritually speaking, metaphorically speaking. All manner of violence and wickedness is always done to the Israelites here. Okay, all the tribes. And that's the reason why, because the goddamn devil has us in captivity, and he knows who we are, and he hates us, and he will never not hate us, and we will never get along with them. All right, now you do have some of our people that have Stockholm syndrome. They're in love with the devil. I'm in love with the devil, right? But the devil is always going to hate you, and he will never be in love with you, right? This is the reason why racism in America can never be solved, right? This is the reason why.
But you have to realize that, yes, the involvement of violence in black folks comes from that long history that the president was talking about, that we have to remember that we learned from some of the best. They had some white boys came over here that did the first beheadings in Point Coupee, Louisiana, where I'm from. Slave insurrection, that was the way you dealt with it. Tuskegee syphilis incident. We're going to see how black men die if they have syphilis, but we pretend we treat them with penicillin, and we're just going to watch the pathology of how they die. Now, that wasn't back 200 years ago. That was 1930 to 1974. We're talking about giving these wonderful blankets to the Native Americans infected with smallpox as they walked on that trail of tears just to see how they die and to eliminate their population so we can take all of that land. So the violence that is in America has come from a very learned position that was brought here by some Caucasian folks. All right?
Edomites. And that's the reason why racism in America can never be solved. You have to be the goddamn devil to do the stuff that Wendell Pierce here, this Israelite man, was just talking about, that the so-called white man, the Edomites, has done to us. Only the goddamn devil would be that wicked. And only the goddamn devil would be that wicked to his own brother. Right? None of the other nations that have had us in captivity have ever treated us like he treated us. See? And that's what it's talking about. I'm going to get a closing precept in Daniel 9 and 12, I believe it is. And then I'm going to wrap it up because I'm long out of time. All right? But this is why racism in America can never be solved. And I'm going to continue this lesson series, but I'm going to get into a second clip, because Wendell Pierce has another clip where he gets into some other things that are also edifying. See? I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm tempted to read the highlighted portion. Let's get 11 and 12. All right, I get a little bit of it. Okay, let's get 11 and 12. Yea, all Israel. Okay, so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as any and all whose lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, that's the reason why. You're wondering why? Well, he just told you. We transgressed the law, we departed. We haven't obeyed the voice of our power, our Father. Therefore, for that reason, the curse is poured upon us. Deuteronomy 28. Okay, start at 15. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. Micah 7 and 9 again. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, the Alahayim, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Yerushalayim, the city of peace. See? This is the reason why racism in America can never be solved. All right? And so I'm going to be continuing on, but it's going to be with another clip. And, as the Spirit leads me to do that, I'll get that and I'll continue on, because there's some other lessons I want to get into as well. And then I also have other series that I still need to wrap up and make progress on. So When the Spirit prompts me, I'll get into that second clip. And Yahweh, this has been edifying, and that will be edifying as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Before I do, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, respect to the brothers teaching, pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Adawan Radazah, this lesson was edifying and encouraging to you, Akim, and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. Ayashmaya Kwana, Azanyim Lashemai Shemai. Let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yasharala, Baba Kusha, Abai Baba Etha. We'll call Adawam. Shalom Lahabakarium. Shalom.